Hello and welcome to this here, our first episode of our new miniseries, Tyranny of Dragons, Defiance in Phlan. This is episode
Huzzah!
1, mission 1, The Meeting at Deepnight, which is new news to our wonderful cast here, Mr. Isaac Finch,
Hello.
Miss Annina Kaski, and Mr. Callum Robertson, who is joining us for the first time.
Hello, happy to be here.
So, let us get into the story proper in this new region. Well, not a new region, but so far in Bardic Quest, unexplored region of the Forgotten Realms, known as Phlan. You were told that Madame Freona's tea kettle was a place where adventurers could find work and avoid the hassle that is often associated with the other places in Phlan. In this rather rugged, rather cold, somewhat adversarial region of Faerun, known as the Moon Sea. So far, in the half an hour that you've been there, Felin and Fluff, the avoidance of hassle has certainly been ringing true. Madame Freona, a stout and officious halfling who runs this establishment here, with her 5 daughters, I must add, has proven to be an excellent hostess. As you are sat round the table, she steps towards you whilst you are in the tavern here. Tavern possibly being somewhat of a strong word because it's not bar stools, it's comfortable sofas and plump chairs with kind of blankets over the backs. Throws is the word I was looking for. Over the backs of some of the chairs. Nice little coffee tables with teacups and teapots. And she steps on over to you, Felin and Fluff. So, would you like to describe, first of all, Felin, exactly whom it is that she is looking at?
So, Felin is struggling to stay on his small stool. He's an incredibly large human. He's about 6'5", both in height and width. At the shoulder, he's just incredibly broad shoulders. Think to 80s fantasy barbarian artwork, like muscles on muscles. Not necessarily cut, not ripped, but he's just a full-on strong man. He has dark brown mullet, like completely shaved on the sides with some tattoos, short beard, and just incredibly large. He wears just a simple sort of sleeveless shirt, very doesn't really protect from the elements at all. It's largely just because he noticed that when he was walking around when he first arrived in Phlan, that people paid a bit the wrong sort of attention. to him. So he's got some very simple clothes on for a simple man. He is probably very early 20s, not long out of his teens, but he has a sort of weathered look to him of someone that has lived a bit. In terms of he's been out in all of the elements, and he probably looks closer to his mid-30s than he does his teens. But he is very much a young man.
Okay, and Fluff.
Fluff appears to be a small humanoid owl, an owlin for people that are au fait with the source material. Not that Fluff knows that, because they weren't raised by other owlin. Fluff has the look and coloration of a British little owl, which are kind of small, sort of light brown with these kind of beige, lighter coloured speckles over them. Big, like round amber eyes, like a little beak with a bit more of a kind of anthropomorphized stature. Has two fluffy wings that are also their hands, so they're kind of picking stuff up and like kind of very curiously looking at things. Little clawed feet. They don't really have shoes, they just have like little bindings to keep them warm. Currently wearing like a dark green cloak and a big scarf, like little breeches and a little belt with a couple of objets d'art sort of just dotted around their person. Just very curiously looking around, kind of following what Fellin is doing and sort of copying what they're up to.
So, Madame Freona, as she approaches you, you've been here for maybe half an hour so far, and she says, I hope you've been finding these seats nice and comfortable, but I must ask, is there anything that you'd like to eat or drink here?
Felin looks and says, what is the options?
Well, we got tea, we got bickies, we got...
Sorry. What is bickies?
Oh, biscuits. That's what I meant to say. Biscuits. Yes.
Ah, right. And what is biscuits?
Like cake. Do you know cake?
Right. Okay. One further question. What? Do you know what? I'll have that.
Right. Okay. Now, would you like? We've got digestive. We've got rich tea, very good with the tea. We got custard creams, which is my personal favourite, of course, and we got ginger snaps.
Yes.
I'll get you a medley, shall I?
I look to Fluff, and I'm like, is that a good choice?
I'll have what he's having.
Right, a medley then. Would you like any teas, or we've got herbal teas, we got bog standard teas, we've got coffees. I mean, I don't understand the coffee thing myself. It's a bitter, horrible taste, but some people say they can't function without it, and it is quite late at night now, so...
Well, I don't know about anything bitter, and I don't think I'd want anything made out of bogs.
No, I was thinking that the bog water makes you right sick.
No, herbal. I like herbs. Whatever the...
I'll have what he's having.
Whatever the people that live here have, I'll have that.
Right, I'll get you some herbal teas and a medley of bickies then. All right, well, make yourselves comfortable. And she kind of heads on over to the kind of bar counter type area. You can see there are displays of cakes and biscuits underneath some glass domes. And she starts plating things up. At which point, in walks in Annina's character. Would you like to describe who Felin and Fluff see enter the tea kettle?
So a half-elf walks in, female, 5'9", pretty standard height, quite slim. So she's wearing sort of riding gear, nothing too fancy looking, but dark browns, bit of blacks. And she comes in, she's got a bit of a nervous energy. She's got shaggy brown hair, sort of chopped, just at the shoulder level. Pale, and obviously pointy ears, and her eyes are a bit of an off colour, which you'll notice if you look closely enough. But yeah, she comes in and sort of looks around, and there's anxiousness about her. She comes in, looks around.
And as you're looking around, Madame Freona waves to you, and she says, "Oh, come in, my dear. Take a seat, make yourself comfortable, get out of the cold."
Hi, hello. Was this where to come? Hi, I'm an adventurer.
What place are you looking for, my dear? Because I can't read your mind. I don't know where you're supposed to be going if you don't tell me.
Do you sell tea here?
Yes, we sell plenty of teas. We got
Yes,
herbal
yes,
tea and we got that bog standard tea.
Okay. Is this the right place? Yeah, it is. Thank you. Hi.
Who are you talking to?
It's a long story. I'm just gonna sit down. Thank you.
Right. Okay, well, make yourself comfortable. Did you want a tea?
Yes.
Bog standard or herbal?
Herbal?
Righto, another herbal. Did you want any bickies or cakes?
Am I allowed that? A biscuit, please.
Righto. And what about for your friend?
The biscuit's fine.
Righto. Biscuits and herbal tea coming up. Right, that's okay. And she starts mumbling to herself and starting plating up other bickies. And she says, "Do you like custard creams? They're my personal favourite."
Yes, I do.
Righto. She carries on mumbling to herself as you take a seat. You can see this place is quite quiet. It's quite late in the evening. There only really seems to be a very muscular looking man sat at a table, looking little bit uncomfortable, really, in his seat. And next to him, a small owl-like person. How tall is Fluff?
Fluff is about 3'9".
So you can just see these big eyes over the top of the table next to Felin.
And I think Annina's character would realise that Fluff has just been staring at her the whole time, and as they kind of meet eyes, just goes, "Hello."
Hi. You're really cute. Oh, sorry, I probably should. Hi, I'm Taileth. Nice to meet you.
That's okay. Yeah. Hello. I'm Fluff. Taileth. Is that your name?
Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
Nudge Felin. Felin, have you cast Zone of Silence on your
Sorry. Fellin has been, one of the stools is a bit wobbly next to him, so he's just been shaving the bottom off one of the legs. He's like, oh, sorry, sorry, did you want this? And he offers the stool in one big paw to Taileth. He was in my own world there.
I get that. So many levels. Pleased to meet you.
Did you want to sit with us?
If that's okay.
Oh,
we ordered the same thing you did. Herbal tea and bickies, because we don't like bog tea.
I don't know why you serve it, to be honest.
I don't imagine that anyone would like to drink bog tea, really.
It's more of a expression, but yeah. Herbal's better.
I see you are cultured.
I wouldn't say that. I just know the town.
Oh, you know the town's good, because we doesn't really.
We've got so many questions about things we've seen. For example, what is this? And he holds up a salt shaker to her.
That's salt. You put it on food to season it.
Right, I see. And also, what is etiquette? Because I've been told I hasn't got any, and I can't find anywhere to buy it.
It's manners. You can't buy it. It's sort of learning rules of how to act around people, usually really rich people.
I told you they didn't sell it in any shops.
Right. Oh dear. I can see use is going to be very, very useful to us if we could be useful to you.
Yes. He thinks it's a good idea.
I'm sorry, who thinks it's a good idea?
Oh, she kind of looks around. All this. Put it blandly. I've got just don't tell a lot of people, but I've got an invisible friend.
Wow.
Oh, I've got loads of them. Mine don't tend to talk back, though. I just sort of imagine they're there, really.
No,
I
mine.
thought I was an imaginary friend when he first met me.
I was so relieved when people started talking to him.
Then I kept talking, and then he sort of like pushed me, and I sort of fell over a little bit, and then I got back up again because I'm real.
But you've got an actual one we can't see.
Yeah, he's very vocal.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You're so lucky.
Yeah, I wish we had imaginary friends.
Then she kind of goes to say something and just stops herself.
So, Madame Freona comes over with a tray of herbal teas and a medley of biscuits, including some custard creams, and she places them down on the table, and she says, "Well, I got to say, it's so lovely to see that you lot have already made friends. Isn't that lovely? I do like to make this place a place of community and where people can come away from the... I mean, it's an horrible town out there, let's be honest. It's not very nice. But I like to think that this place is a nice haven for people where they can meet like-minded folk and things. What exactly brings you lot here?"
Well, I've never been to places like this before. So I'm an orphan, and I got found by a group of people, and they're my family. But they're not my real family, obviously, because they don't look very much like me at all. But I came out here to try and find things. They're furbolgs. Sorry, did I say they're furbolgs? They're furbolgs. Furbolgs are like big, hairy people, which is why I thought my friend Fellin here, I thought he was a furbog, and I went over to talk to him. But he's not a furbog. He's just a person.
No, I is a person. And I is my own person, and that's why I is here. I wasn't a tribe, but now I'm here. And that, I think, is all that needs to be known.
I think we might all be looking for a job.
Yes, a job. Yes, because and I'm counting my coins underneath there. I was like, how much is Bickies?
Oh, well, just 2 copper will cover the bickies.
Oh, thank goodness. I didn't know when they brought them over. I have never seen such things.
Fellin,
But they might be expensive.
Well, they are very nice, but no, they're not that expensive. Maybe I should put the price up, I don't know.
It's like tiny hard bread.
They're the little ones. 2 of the little ones.
I just start nibbling the biscuits.
Right. Well, enjoy your herbal tea. What sort of work are you looking for, young lady?
What's on offer?
Well, I'm not saying that I've necessarily got work. I got my daughters here to help us to manage the whole place, so I don't know if I've necessarily got any jobs available for you, but I might be able to keep my ear to the ground just in case anything comes through. A lot of people pass through here, you see, so a lot of people looking for people for work.
Well, I can do a little bit of magic, so I can help.
Oh, can you now? That's very good.
Yeah.
I wish I could do some magic. It'd help me clean the place up a bit when it gets a bit mucky.
So
Sorry, I fell off the chair.
Oh, are you all right there?
Yeah,
Oh, dear.
I had to climb back up.
I take my bedroll out and I give it him to sit on so that he can boost himself up a little bit.
Thank you.
Any odd jobs, picking stuff up, escorting people?
Odd jobs. I'm sure I can do something with odd jobs. I mean, as I say, lots of people come through here, so lots of people looking for work, and lots of strange folk wanting strange work done.
Yeah.
And what about you, young Fluff?
What about me?
Are you looking for work as well? She said you're all looking for jobs.
Well, yes. Well, I'm looking for an adventure.
Oh, right, okay. Right.
I haven't found one yet, but jobs can be adventures. And despite that, I've also found out that we need more of these things to buy things like bickies and herbal teas.
I like spickies.
Right, okay, right. So any job that could be some sort of adventure. And have you got a... And she looks to you, Felin, she says, you got any particular... you said you're looking for work as well because you're running out.
Yes. Well, I done. Well, since I've been told, I done a bit of. I think they call it security, but I found that most of it involves bullying people, and I don't like that. So none of that, please. I was good at chopping. I've done some firewood for people, and I is good at making stuff out of wood. And I look around at the sort of the place. I'm like, if you needed any sort of bits fixing or replacing, I'm good with a chisel.
Oh, right, okay. Well, that's good. That's good to know as well. So, woodwork for you, magic for this young lady, and pure enthusiasm from the little Fluff there. Right, well, as I say, I don't necessarily have any work myself, but strange folk do come here asking for strange things, so I'll keep my ear to the ground, and if I will you be staying here tonight?
Oh, if you'll have us.
Oh, well, we got some rooms available.
I look at that, my coins, and how much do that be?
Oh, well, we could. Well, I must admit, we've only really got one functioning room at the moment.
No, he doesn't mind the floor.
Well, I tell you what, I could probably put you up for bed and breakfast. I don't know, probably five silver.
Oh,
Any discount for new adventurers?
Can you give me a persuasion check?
Yes. 23.
She looks at your wide-eyed, enthusiastic expression, and she says, "Well, you know what? I am feeling a little bit generous, and you seem like nice folk. So I tell you what, why don't we keep it nice and simple? And three silver, so a silver each, and that'll. As you're having to share a room, you know, you are all right with sharing a room.
That's one of these ones, right?" And I hold up a silver coin.
Aye, that's
Yes,
right.
one of those.
That's silver.
Lovely. Thank you.
I think you might struggle to find any rooms anywhere else. You see, this time of night.
That's fine. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Put the silver on the table.
Right. Well, thank you very much, and well, enjoy your bickies and your herbal tea.
Well, thank you.
She strolls away.
When she goes, Fluff instantly turns around to look at Taileth and just goes, "How did you do that? Did you use magic?"
Kinda.
Wow. It's like you put her under some sort of spell, but like a friendly one. And then she made things cheaper.
Yeah, I just sometimes smile and people like my face, and it's a bit disconcerting, but it works. And then she stops talking while she's pointing up and goes, "But enough of that. Let's keep an ear out for work. Have you guys done any work before?"
Like chopping and carving. I've got a few, and I hold up like some spoons and things that I've whittled some people's by these. I'm now realising that I've not been charging enough for them now that I'm starting to get a grip of what a copper piece is. But I've done a bit of lifting, manual work. I don't know what else I's good for, really.
I've commissioned a duck from Felin.
I was just waiting for the right piece of wood.
A duck?
A duck. I like ducks.
Is that like an artifact?
What, that word? What that? Is that a
Um,
type of duck?
No, like a valuable piece of do you have a
no.
duck god?
No. I just like ducks. And
Okay, yeah.
whittling things, and I thought it would be nice. I thought maybe he could do more ducks. And
Yeah, I find the right piece of wood. I looks at the wood and it tells me what it wants to be. So I just need to find a piece of wood that wants to be a duck.
That sounds nice.
I've done some jobs before. I'm quite good at doing things back home. Like we all sort of all chip in together and we all sort of do things together, and it's quite nice. I'm good at finding herbs and things, and I'm good at things like building small houses to live in, and I'm out of twigs and fluff, and
You're good at you're good at flying. I've seen that.
I do quite a lot of flying sometimes.
Oh, I'd love to be able to fly.
I know.
Well, maybe you could. Maybe Felin could whittle you some frames, and then if we could find you some feathers and things, and maybe you could.
I think she was greatly overestimating my abilities.
I think you can whittle anything you put your mind to.
I don't know if I said this, but sometimes the things you say make me feel strange, like a warm feeling.
That's happy.
I think so.
So, a few hours pass by as you start to discuss your various life experiences and your excitement, the world, particularly in your case, Fluff. And eventually, you decide that it is in fact time to perhaps retire for the night, after having enjoyed the pleasant atmosphere and delicious bickies as well as the herbal tea, of course, provided by Madame Freona. So you head on upstairs to what is a rather comfortable, albeit shared, fairly sort of common bunk room that has been provided. And as you're beginning to settle down for the evening, getting ready to pretty much get into your gym jams, your PJs, or whatever it is that your particular character might be prone to wearing at night, there's suddenly a knock on the door.
What's that?
And you hear a voice go, it's just Reese. Now,
Come
Reese
in.
is one of the names of the daughters of Madame Freona. And as she hears Fluff call out to come in, you just see this little girl. Well, I say little girl, she's more of a teenager, poke of her head around the door with her curly red hair jumping straight out at you. And she says, quite nervously, as she's kind of playing with her curls, she says, "Pardon the interruption, but there's a chap just came into the common room downstairs and asked me to fetch you. Had a chat with my mum, and then he said that I should come and fetch you. Something about some coin needing to change hands for an easy job."
Thank you, young sapling.
You're welcome. Shall I tell him you're coming?
Yes. We'll be down in a minute.
Right.
Thank you. Right, I caught about half of that. What are we doing?
There's a person with an adventure for us.
I heard job and coin.
That's what you need to know.
Good. Right. Lead on.
Fluff jumps down from like the shelf he's been perched on, just like.
All right. So you head downstairs, and when you get to the common room, you can see a hooded figure sat alone at one of the larger tables. And as you kind of descend the stairs, this figure motions for you to come and take a seat opposite them.
So very warily sit.
I put two stools together and sit down.
Fluff just sort of hops up on a seat. And what does this person look like?
You can't really tell because their face is very much obscured by their hood. You can barely see their chin and their mouth at this point. They're making that hood very low, deliberately so, it seems.
Evening.
It says in a male voice, albeit very low, almost as though they're quite obviously trying to disguise their voice. And the voice says, "Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
I hear you are looking for work."
Yes, that we is.
Excellent. I am a member of an organization known as the Harpers. Are you familiar with the Harpers?
No, but I think my mother played.
Would Taileth know about the Harpers?
Yes, give me a history check. Well, she may know, certainly, but yes, give me a history check.
Just whisper
Well-
to Felin. I love music.
I know.
12, was that?
Yeah.
You have heard of the Harpers in stories. You're not overly familiar with them, but you know them to be an organization that is supposedly dedicated to fighting evil wherever it happens. And as he kind of mentions the Harpers, he does just show underneath his, like the collar of his robe, he shows a little brooch that looks to be in the shape of a harp that he kind of flashes to you. And he says, "I have a mission for you, a quest of sorts, that I think actually you might be in a rather unique position to complete. We have recently," and he kind of looks around just to make sure that you are the only people in the room, which you are. He says, "We have recently captured a merchant that was going to illegally purchase something of great significance. They were seeking to illegally purchase a red dragon's egg. Because we have captured this merchant, of course, the sale has not taken place. The job is simply this. I would like you to pose as the merchant and his hirelings to go to the site where the purchase is due to take place, make the transaction, and then place a magical device upon one of the sellers so that we may track them back to their residence.
What were they? How much is a red dragon egg? Because
I did not know you could buy such a thing.
I don't think we have the kind of currency to be able to buy one.
Well, I can provide the resources for that, and he reaches down into the pocket of his robe and pulls out a bag, which he drops onto the table, and then you hear kind of like a bit of a small clatter, and then he unties the bag so you can see in it, and he presents to you in this bag what look to be diamonds. And he says, "Don't get too excited, they're not actually diamonds, but good enough to pass a cursory inspection if anybody wanted to check the authenticity of them." So, you must be wondering why exactly I feel, he kind of adjusts his voice to try and make it as deep as he can, why I feel that you are the right people for this job.
Was wondering that.
Well, it just so happens that the merchant whom we have captured was in fact an owlin.
Oh.
And so
It's like you.
this young owlin here, and he gestures towards you, Fluff, will have to pose as the merchant, and you two as his hirelings.
You've seen another owlie like me.
Yes, he's currently in custody, but yes.
Oh. What? How old are they?
45.
What do they look like?
Well, they kind of look you. Perhaps a little larger, perhaps.
I didn't think the first adventure I would meet someone that like what? Can I go and talk to them?
No, I'm afraid not. They are in custody and not receiving visitors.
Where are they though?
Well, we have them at a local stronghold, a few miles out of town.
Can we go there after?
No, I'm afraid not. They are, as I say, not accepting
Yeah,
visitors.
they're in a lot of trouble.
What about tomorrow?
No, they'll still be in trouble tomorrow.
No.
There is one other thing, of course, which is very, very important, and he places a small silver pin on the table. And he says, at some point during the exchange, you will need to place this pin on the seller or one of their associates, if they have any associates with them, so that we can then determine where they are operating from. Oh, and also, no real names are to be used during the transaction. This was some intel that we managed to get from the merchant in question. The two parties will refer to each other as the buyer and the seller.
And what will we call ourselves?
Buyers.
Yes, this young
Oh,
Alan
right,
here.
we're all the buyers, okay.
Well, no, and then he gestures to Fluff and says, "No, this is the buyer. You will be acting as hirelings or crewmen."
So we've got to
crewwomen,
pretend,
of course. Yes.
like a play.
Yes, like a. I am having my doubts now, but yes, do pretend as best you can. How confident do you feel that you might be able to fulfill that? He asks you, Fluff.
I've told lots of stories, and we tell stories all the time. And sometimes people like to be the different people in the story, so it's kind of like that. So I think yeah.
Right.
I think I'd be good at it.
And you looks like you're supposed to looks.
It's frightfully uncanny that the seller was also an owlin.
Well,
Seeing as I've never even met another one like me ever, and I'd like to see another one, but you said it's not allowed.
well, this particular Owlin is a wrongdoer.
But I've never met another person like myself.
Perhaps this is not the best example of one of your kind to meet as the first.
But people are only able to deal with the hand that they're dealt in life, and if they're not given a very good hand of cards, then how can they play well?
We don't get to decide that this time. Unfortunately, I'm totally up for taking the mission, but that does depend on Fluff.
I goes where you goes. And if there are other owlin out there, then that if there's two, then that means usually there's probably three.
There could be three.
There could be more. So we could see if we find some more on the way.
And maybe we'll find one that isn't in custard.
Yeah. They're not going to turn them into creams, are they?
I'm just staring at the custard creams. I've put them down.
I slap out a Felin hat.
Push them away.
It's not. Custody is not the same as that. Custody means you're in jail, that you're in trouble.
Criminal biscuits.
No, it's nothing to do with the biscuits.
He says to you, "Oh, there is one other important detail. It is very important, very important, that no fights should break out between you and the sellers, and that absolutely no harm should come to the egg. The point is that we're going to track the sellers, so killing or even capturing them is completely counterproductive.
And then we'll give the egg back.
So you bring the egg to me, and in exchange, me and my organization will pay you 100 gold pieces.
And then you'll take the egg. Can we come with you to take the egg back to the Dragon Mother?
I don't think it's good.
We won't be taking it to the
They're gonna be very good foster parents for that egg. About this pin,
Yes.
do we have to put it on their person, or can we just leave it in the vicinity?
Well, you're going to need, if we're tracking them, it needs to be on them.
Right.
Yes.
No, just usually if I have to, touch someone, I usually charge a little bit more. But
Well, I think 200 gold is a generous offer.
she kind of bats her eyelashes at him.
Can you give me a persuasion check?
I lean over to Fluff and I'm like, that is a lot of bickies.
Oh, it's a 11.
He says, I think 200 gold is more than generous.
So,
Okay.
when will you take the egg back to its mum?
And
That
she
is-
kind of mouths like, just lie.
That is classified information.
Like a secret.
More something that some people know only if they need to know.
But I need to know.
She mouths to this stranger.
Why does he keep mouthing, just lie to him? I can hear.
I'm sorry.
He says, we will return it to its mother at the first appropriate time.
Do I believe him?
Can you give me an insight check, please?
Insight. That's a plus. 17.
You're not entirely sure what he means by most appropriate time, but you certainly believe that it will be returned at some point.
Okay.
Any more
So-
questions?
I have so many questions, but I don't think they're to do with this, so I will just be quiet.
Right. Well, and he gestures to you, Fluff. Is this a acceptable mission for you?
I accept this adventure.
Excellent. Right, well, meet me at the stables behind here when you return. I will await you there. And he stands up and begins to leave. Oh, the meeting is due to take place in, well, about now, at a
Right.
abandoned barn about 20 minutes south from
Do I look like the person I'm meant to be?
Yes. Well,
Does
as close as we can get. Your kind are very rare.
does I look acceptable?
Well, yes.
Good. Good. Oh, he's acceptable.
Are there any passwords, codes we should know?
No,
we need-
not that I'm aware of. Just make sure to not use any names, just buyer and seller. And you present the diamonds, and they'll present the egg, and should go without a hitch.
So there's no code words for
No,
Egg.
not that I
just. I heard you had a dragon egg.
Well, maybe not quite as innocently as perhaps that. Maybe, your intention is very, this has been an arranged meeting, so you already know that they have a. Have an egg.
Okay.
Wonderful. Well, I will leave that in your capable hands, but as I say, the meeting is due to start imminently, so perhaps.
Okay.
Great.
Do we need anything?
So we just head to the stables straight away. And
No,
we will
you meet me at the stables. There's an abandoned barn about 20
Abandoned
minutes
barn.
from here. Yes.
So
Yes.
shall we just follow you to the stables now?
No, I won't be. No, you leave, head to the meeting at the barn. It's
Oh.
about 20 minutes south, and then,
Right.
Got you.
and then from there, do the exchange, bring the egg back, and
Don't murder no one.
correct. Yes, no murder, please.
No,
Okay.
no murder.
If you just give us a map or
It's
something.
due south from here. Keep
Due
going. When you see a
We know
barn,
south.
Okay.
Barn.
that is where you will need to be.
It's 2 R's in murder.
Oh, right. Sorry. Here.
We'll see you later.
May the gods shine upon you.
Which ones?
All of them. He
Oh,
bows his
what a
head
blessing.
with
We
are
a look
truly
of worry
blessed.
on his face.
We are truly blessed.
We'll see you later, Mr. Harper.
Yes.
Come on, let's go.
I hope your cough gets better.
Thank you. He leaves. Anything you'd like to do before you head off?
Polytheism.
You have got minutes to spare. Well, no minutes to spare, really, in reality. But
Has everyone done a wee before we go?
are you
I
heading
will go-
straight there?
I will, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you make your way south then, out of the tea kettle, and you head out towards this southerly direction where you are hoping to find this abandoned barn, which you do in fact find quite easily. It's a simple, quite open structure, about 30 foot wide and 80 feet long. You can actually see through the open doorway. There is a ladder at the far end of the barn that seems to lead up into like a hayloft or something, about 10 feet above the floor. And you can see there are rusted farm implements as well, lent up against some of the doors there, and some burlap sacks on the wall, or kind of at the foot of the wall, should I say, near where the ladder heading up is. As you arrive, you can see that there is an elf woman and 3 human men waiting at the barn near the open doorway.
As we sort of, before we get there, I just want to kind of whisper to the other two. I'd sort of flutter up to Felin's shoulder and just kind of talk between the two of them, just like, should I do a voice, like a different voice?
I don't think they knows this.
How about I do the talking for you as your servant, and you just look regal and owly.
And I will look big.
Yes, look big.
I
Just
will look big.
I stand on Felin's shoulder and just puff up my feathers. Like,
Oh, yes, I will be your perch.
that's good. That's good. Okay, I've got the. Do you remember to breathe? Yeah. So just
You got this.
yeah. Just I'll do the talking for you because you're so important. You don't need to talk.
I
Remember that. I'll talk.
As you start to approach the barn, the elf calls out, She says, "Halt!" As you get about 20 feet away from this elf. She's in grey clothes, and she smiles at the 3 human men that are kind of behind you. And she says, "I told you they would come. A dragon egg is, after all, much too valuable to pass up." Then she turns back to the 3 of you, and she says, "Now, let us do this quickly. Here is what you asked for." And she holds out a very large hide backpack towards you. And she says, "First of all, have you any identification of any kind?"
Taileth is just gonna indicate towards Fluff.
She looks and says, "Ah, yes." She says, "So rare to see one of your kind, buyer.
I will be speaking for the buyer today.
Any particular reason?"
They prefer not to speak. See, very, very important. It's not part of their culture.
Shakes head.
So, could you show us the egg?
She looks quite curiously at you, and
You could just be giving us an empty backpack.
she looks unimpressed. And she says, "You simply throw the payment over to me, and we will leave the egg here. We will exit the barn, and then you can leave after 5 minutes have passed. No fuss, no muss."
Because we are talking about such an...
She says, I'm not talking to you. I'd like to speak with the buyer, please. Are you in agreement to these terms?"
I whisper into Felin's ear. They don't seem very nice, but say yes. For me, please. Thank you. Bye.
He agrees.
She says, "I'm not talking to you either. I'd like to hear from the buyer."
Well, we don't always get what we want, does we? The agreement was for was payment for an egg, not polite conversations.
Indeed.
She looks curiously again, and she says, "I had heard that your reputation," and she looks to you, Fluff, "was that you were talkative to a point that it was a liability, and that I was warned not to, well, not really to engage in trade with you at all, lest my cover be blown. So I'm quite surprised to hear that it's not amongst your culture to speak with anyone."
Well, why do you think the reason is? He's letting us talk for him. For your safety.
Could I get a deception check, please?
Dirty 20.
Oh, yeah.
She looks at you and she says, "Yes, I suppose that makes sense. Glad to see that self-awareness is not lost. A lost skill." She says, "Very well. You throw the payment and we will leave the egg here."
Who's holding the bag of diamonds?
Yeah. Oh, we need to get the pin on one of them. Okay, while this is happening,
Mm-hmm.
I'm making some eyes on one of these fucking me heads at the back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whichever one of them is biggest, I am also making very different eyes about him.
What is the intention behind the making of the eyes to these meatheads?
Well, I am flirting
Okay,
because I need to get this pin on one of them.
I see. So, yeah, go
Go
on.
on.
Go ahead, Felin.
I am just sort of sizing up the larger of the three. If I presume they look like either security, whichever one looks like they're the security. I'm
Right.
just looking at him in a way that tries to convey If this goes down, it's you and me.
All right. Could I get then an intimidation check from you, please, Felin?
Absolutely.
And
First roll is a natural 20.
oh,
natural
very
20.
nice. Very
For a
nice.
total of 22.
You see him, the largest one of them, of course. He kind of just grips. He's actually carrying a spear, and you could just kind of see the grip on that just kind of tighten a little bit as he looks at you. And the elf says, "I don't understand the hesitation. Just throw the payment to me, and we will leave the egg here." And you see the largest of these guards, for want of a better word, just kind of whisper something in her ear. And she kind of dismisses him quite rudely. And she says, "Come on. I don't have all night."
I look to Taileth.
Do I roll as well for my?
Well, when you're flirting with them,
Mhm.
but what is the intent behind the flirtation? Like, what are
I
you
want
trying
him
to
come
get them
closer.
to do?
I want him
Okay.
to come closer so I can get a fucking pin on one of them.
Okay, so how are you going to encourage that? Precise, because just looking at them is not going to bring them closer.
Okay. I'm going to. I have a little notebook,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a pen. I have an ink pen,
Okay.
and I scribble something on the ink on the little scrap of paper,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of wave it at one of them.
All right. Can I get a persuasion check then, please?
Come on, we need that pin on one of them. Fuck. That is 6. That's not gonna work. Fuck.
You see the guard that you're, trying to entice over. You see him kind of looking back at you, but the elf kind of catches this, just kind of looks at him with a judgmental look on her face, kind of slaps him to get him to refocus on the job at hand. And then the elf says, "Are you going to purchase this or not?"
Yes, we are. We still haven't seen the egg.
She lets out a big sigh, and she opens up the bag and pulls out, only half out, because she's still trying to be somewhat conspicuous, not inconspicuous, should I say, and she shows you this large-looking, dark red egg.
I partially open our bag and partially show them the diamonds.
She looks at you with frustration, perhaps, a little bit of annoyance, and she says, "Right, so throw them over, and again, we will leave the egg here, and you can leave once 5 minutes have passed."
Fluff brushes his ear and just nods.
I seal the bag up and I throw it to just in front of them.
Good. Okay. How do we get the pin on one of them?
Excellent. She picks up the bag, opens it up, takes a quick look at the diamonds, closes up the bag, and she says, "Excellent. Thank you very much. As promised," and she places the egg down on the ground. She says, "We shall leave the egg here, and you may only leave when 5 minutes have passed to ensure that our cover remains intact. Thank you for doing business with us this evening." And she begins to walk away with her 3 men as well.
Oh, I'm not gonna risk it. Oh, do we need to get that pin on one of them? Okay. She's gonna rush up to the one that she was making eyes at with her little piece of paper. And rush up to him and go, "Oh, you forgot this." Shove that in his pocket, and with her other hand put the pin in, like, somewhere on his back. And then wink and then run back.
Can I get a sleight of hand check from you, please?
11? No. +1. I rolled a 12 +1, 13.
The man kind of stops. He's really confused and taken aback. He says, "You what? What's going on?"
She winks and goes, "See you later." And it has some bullshit like "meet me at bloody blood."
He looks at it and he kind of you see him kind of blush a little bit, and the elf woman is looking rather unimpressed at him particularly, and then she kind of snaps at you, Taileth, and she says, "Allow us to maintain our cover, please."
I'm sorry. He's handsome. And then she runs off.
She says, "And keep your distance." As they continue to walk away, leaving the barn clear with only the red dragon's egg now on the floor inside the bag.
45, 46, 47, 48.
Should we check the egg?
Just be very careful with the egg.
We're using a brute, and I go over to gently open up the bag. I don't pick it up off the floor. I bend down and I gently open the bag to reveal the egg.
Okay. Can I get a nature check from you, please?
Can I assist
You may.
this?
Good, because I has a -1. The woodsman has a -1. That would be an 8 for my roll, and the advantage. Oh, that's a 15 for the aid, the assist.
As you're looking at this egg, the two of you, there's something about it that seems slightly off. It doesn't actually seem to be made of egg-like material. In fact, you think it might be a painted wooden egg.
Oh, great.
And
I give it a tap.
yeah, it sounds very hollow. And as you come to this realization, a voice interrupts you as a rather tough-looking half-orc male brandishing a mace appears in the doorway of the barn just in front of you. And he says, "The toll for passage away from this barn is going to be that egg. So, I'm sure that you're going to hand it over peacefully to me so that I don't have to take your lives instead." And you see a couple of bandits appear behind you as well.
Thanks for the heads up.
Oh yeah, I turn to Fluff and I the no murdering part.
Yeah.
I don't think is they with. Excuse me, are you with them what just left?
I don't think they are.
He says, "No."
Good, it was important for me to know that.
And he says, "We are the welcomers."
You are the well, that's very nice of you. It doesn't feel very welcoming, to be honest.
You what?
Well, I generally, when I don't know if it's a cultural thing, but I don't threaten to kill people when I'm trying to make them feel welcome.
Are you going to give us the bloody toll or not?
Well, it depends. So you're a gang, are you?
No, we're the welcomers. That's what I just said.
Right. Okay.
You notice, by the way, that both the orc and the two bandits, all of them are missing their left ear.
Being who I am, I notice you're all missing an ear.
Yeah?
Is that deliberate, or are you just? Is it a bit of misfortune?
You're not from round here, are you?
No, I am not.
No, that's obvious. Right. Give us the bloody egg, or I'm going to have to start taking names.
Well, we're not giving names. We are buyer and hirelings.
Thank you for reminding me. I mean, who?
Those are the names that you need. Those are the names you're getting.
Right, well, give us the egg then.
Right, and what happens if we don't give you the egg? I'm just trying to make clear what's going on here.
And what you hear one of the bandits from behind you go, either give us the egg, or we're gonna have to beat the living shit out of you.
Right, now this is nice, and I like things clear. So now we have an option of if you give you this egg, or you will commit violence. Is that what we're doing here?
They're definitely going to commit violence.
Lovely, right. In that case, I would say you two work for him.
Well, we work with him, yeah.
We
No,
work with him.
why are we answering all these questions? Just give us the bloody egg.
Excuse me, I'd like to know who I'm working with here, because I need to make a decision whether we're giving you the egg or not. Because I need to know whether he's the boss man. Basically, after I've cut his head off, whether you're going to stay around or not.
The half-orc says, I'd like to see you try.
Well, you won't, you see. I tend to find that once the head is removed, you don't actually see it coming. There's a bit of a delay.
Fucking chance. Give us the egg, or
Fluff
face the
pipes up.
consequences.
Fluff pipes up and says quietly to his friends, he's like, we could, despite how valuable this egg is, we could give them this egg, and we could go and get another one.
But we won't
It looks quite.
get the prize for doing the mission.
Yeah, he does want the monies.
We do.
So do I, but we might not get it with this egg because we might have to give this egg to these people and get another egg that might be better than this one.
No, this is the egg we have to take back. So I'm just going to politely say no.
Right then. Tins it is.
I hope you're as strong as you look, she goes to Felin.
All right.
Does that mean I ask permission to do violence?
Yes, please. The more
Right.
better against those three.
I would like to throw a hand axe straight at the big guy.
Well, let's roll initiative and see who acts
Okay.
next, shall we?
Yes, no worries.
Alrighty. Oops.
We're going to keep this wooden egg.
Good start, Wayne. Throw your d20 on the floor.
Hey. Oh. Interesting.
Okay, and then...
Don't want to go first.
Okay. Alright, so what are your initiatives?
19.
Ooh,
11.
Also 11 with no dexterity bonus.
okay. Alright, we've got a few 11s going here. So what's your... You've got no dexterity bonus, Felin,
And I have a +1.
and you have a +1. Okay.
I don't think I'm getting the drop on him.
What's your score, Taileth?
11.
12.
Right. Okay.
Dex boys club.
So, in which case then, and your score, Felin, is
11.
okay. So it's going to go thusly then. It will go Fluff, followed by the half-orc, then Taileth, then the bandits, then Felin. So, Fluff, what would you like to do?
I don't know. Just quickly looking up a spell.
They are fairly close to you, so you could easily get to them in movement
How close are they to?
within 20 feet.
Okay. Cool. I'm going to just very quickly stoop to the ground and pick up 3 small pebbles, and I'm gonna use magic stone to imbue these 3 little pebbles with magic, and they start kind of almost like little leaf-shaped, little sort of green sensory magic-y thing starts to sort of glow off of them, like a little puff of wind, Disney style. I'm going to fly 30 foot up into the air.
Ooh, awesome.
And I'm going to drop one of the stones into... Before I fly up, I'm going to drop one of the stones into Felin's hand.
Ooh, nice.
And just say, skimming stones! And then I'm going to fly up into the air, do a little somersault, and out of my clawed foot, I'm going to throw a magic stone at one of these things.
Awesome. Okay, roll to hit then. Who are you throwing it at? The half-orc or one of the bandits?
One of the half-orcs, I think.
Okay.
So it's a ranged fella. Cool. It's a 15 to hit.
A 15 will hit as your magical imbued pebble flies towards this half-orc. Roll for damage for me.
Lovely. Oh, hang on. What's this thing? Oh, it does say I would possibly need a sling to do this. Hang on.
By throwing it or hurling it with a sling.
Oh, but by throwing it or hurling it.
Yeah.
Cool, thank you. We're in 6 feet. Cool, thank you very much. So, sorry, 15 hits.
Yep.
Lovely. So that does 1d6 plus my spellcasting modifier, which is 5 plus 4. So that is 9 points of bludgeoning damage. Yes, bludgeoning damage.
Very nice. Would you like to describe your magical stone as it strikes this half-orc?
Yeah, so as I sort of whip through the air, it kind of leaves a little trail of kind of leaf and feather-shaped sort of magical kind of like a tiny meteorite kind of just flies through the air and just smacks him on the head with a little like ding, like makes a little kind of like bell ringing sound as it hits his head.
Which in response you hear, "Ow, that fucking hurt!" Anything else you'd like to do?
Just kind of go, sorry, go away.
Alrighty, now it is the orc's turn. Fluff, you're now 30 feet in the air, so he's not going to be able to get to you. The half-orc, not a full-blown orc, of course. Yeah, you're 30 feet in the air, so he can't get to you. He's got his mace out. Felin, you were probably the most loudmouthed out of everyone, so he's going to come for you, and he's going to swing his mace in your general direction for, 21 against your armor class.
Let me just check. Yeah. That doesn't be my unarmored defense.
Ooh, for maximum damage as well, I'm afraid to say, for 8 points of bludgeoning damage. Shit,
That's not good.
that's not a good start.
I'm not even raging.
All right. And which one of you's, no, none of you actually picked up the egg, did you? You were just inspecting it at this point, so none of you actually holding the egg. And as he strikes you, and he strikes you like round the face with his mace, like it really discombobulates you for a moment. And he just kind of laughs at you, Felin, and he says, "See? Told you we'd beat the living shit out of you. Smart mouth." And that's going to be his turn. Taileth.
Right. I'm going to move so I'm behind Felin.
Okay, yep.
And then I'm going to do Elder sort of. I'm either fully behind or behind to the side,
Sure.
depending on how
You'd
you're.
probably have to kind of go to the side a little bit if
Yeah.
you're going to do what I think you're going to do.
Eldritch Blast.
Oh, baby, yeah.
Yeah.
All
Head
right.
for this
Cool. So that is an attack roll, I believe, yes?
with my spell attack,
Yeah.
which is a 24.
Oh! And this is against the heart, yes?
Yes.
All right. Would you like to describe your Eldritch Blast as it strikes him?
It is like this ball of, like, the very center of the ball is pitch black, and then it kind of has green fire.
Ooh,
So it's a green flamed
very
black
cool.
pitted ball.
Wonderful. Roll for damage for me then, please.
Okay, 1d10. Did you do it? 9.
9 points of damage.
Ooh.
All right, which is also enough to bloody him as this ball of black-green, almost flame, flies through the air and strikes this half-orc right in the chest, which kind of wipes the smug smile off his face. And he kind of looks around. He's a bit dazed for a moment, and he goes, "Fuck! They've got magic, boys!" All right. Anything else you'd like to do?
Can I do a cantrip and a...
A cantrip, yes. You can't
Yeah.
do 2 leveled spells, but a cantrip and
But can I do... If I've done a cantrip, I can't chuck my boomerang as well.
Correct. Because you've used your action for your Eldritch Blast, so you're
Yeah.
limited to a bonus action.
Then that's me.
Alrighty. Okay. Now it is the 2 bandits who are behind you all at this point because they kind of tried to flank you. They actually pull out a couple of light crossbows. One of them is going to be fired towards you, Taileth as the magic user. So, but that's going to miss with a 5 against your armor class, as you just see, as you've unleashed this Eldritch Blast, this crossbow bolt just flies over your shoulder and embeds itself into the side of the barn in front of you. The other light crossbow is going to be coming for Fluff, who is up in the air at this point, which is probably going to be okay, but let's see, a 12 against your armor class?
No, I have my shield out, so it's
Ah,
good.
cute. Doing, doing, doing.
He calls back and he's like, "You actually don't fire a crossbow because there's no ignitive element to it. You loose a crossbow, same as a bow."
Then the bandits are going to close in, actually. One is going to move and engage with Felin. And he's actually going to put his... Oh no, they've still got their crossbows out because they've just taken them out. So he's still got his crossbow in hand because he can't put it away yet. The other one is going to move in and engage with Taileth. Taileth. Is it Taileth? Taileth.
Taileth.
All right. Felin. You have the half-orc in front of you who is blooded at this point.
Yeah.
And you have essentially 2 bandits behind you. One engaged with just you, the other one engaged with just Taileth.
Well, with your permission, I would like to rage.
Please, go ahead.
Thank you very much. So yeah, my bonus action, I spit out some blood from that hit I took to the face, and I just look, my eyes burning back at him, and I am going to bring down my halberd as hard as I can upon the hot. Will a 17 hit?
A 17 will indeed hit. This guy's just in leather armor, so...
So I get my +2 rage damage. So that is going to be 7 plus my 3 plus 2. That's 12 damage altogether.
How are you finishing him?
So I'm going to do what I said. I'm going to chop his head off. Cleanly like one would hit a tree. I bring it a slightly down, ever so slightly downward angle, cleave it off, and then I'm going to go...
As his head just rolls in the dirt at your feet.
That is my. I will.
I suppose you've only got movement
turn,
left, but you're engaged.
I will turn towards the one that's come at me with the crossbow, and just flex my lats.
Very nice. Do you want to give me an intimidation check?
Yeah, sure. That will be. I think I have a +1 to intimidation, so I think that's a 16.
You watch the
+2.
the blood
So 17.
drain from the face of this bandit. You just flex the muscles out. You see just panic strike.
Yeah. It's not him. Yeah, that's right.
We're at the top of the round. Fluff, you're in the air. You've just watched the half-orc get decapitated by Felin. There is a bandit engaged with Felin who's looking a little bit scared, and another bandit engaged with Taileth.
So he just kind of goes, yeah, the beheading. First time he's seen someone be beheaded. And he just sort of talks to himself and said, "I'll process that later." And he's just going to non-lethally drop a magic stone onto the head of the one who's engaged with... do you say someone's in...
Yes, there's one engaged
Base
with
contact?
Taileth and one engaged with Felin. Both are untouched, but the one engaged with Felin is looking scared of Felin right now.
Cool. I will drop a magic stone on the head of the one engaged with Taileth, please.
Righto.
So that's a 15 again.
Which will hit. Again, these are also in leather armor, so not heavily armored.
Lovely. 1 on the die, +4, so 5 damage.
All right, which is enough to bloody this particular bandit as this magic stone drops onto his head and actually strikes him right in the temple, and you kind of start to see a little bit of blood pouring out of the side of his head, just where he's caught the right vein.
Leave her alone, please. We're on an adventure, and you're sort of waylaying us.
All right, Taileth. There's a
Right.
bandit engaged with you who's now bleeding from the head, looking a bit bloodied.
A bit bloodied. He's gonna get a big old whack with a staff.
Nice. Roll to hit for me.
Yeah. 1 second. That can't be right. Oh no, it is. I only get an attack Bonus of +1. That's bullshit. Oh well.
You did put 9 on your strength, Annina.
Yeah, so that'll be one.
She's good at other stuff.
It's definitely not gonna hit with a 4. Not gonna hit.
I'm afraid
No.
not. As you go to hit him, he just brings his arm up just in time to just kind of protect his face from your quarterstaff.
It's a fucking tap more than anything. Oh well. Oh well. And I think she does do that and go, shit!
All right. Anything else?
I can't do a cantrip, can I? No.
Only if it's a bonus action.
Can I do? No, that one is an action, unfortunately. Let me look at my other spells. Yeah, no, can't.
Righto. Okay.
No, can't even disengage. No, that was it.
Righto.
That was
So, first of all, we'll deal with the bandit that is looking a bit terrified right now. He is going to begin to flee. He's not going to disengage. He's just like, I don't want to be decapitated. Thank you very much. I'm out of here. So he turns to run.
opportunity attack.
Yeah.
Felin, it's...
Yeah,
your-
I realised I probably should. I missed the opportunity to do an opportunity attack on the way in with my Phlan master.
That's
but this
true.
This is what we learn with first level,
Well,
isn't it?
indeed.
You always have this. I'm going to let him flee.
Okay. All right. Cool. He dashes away then, in that case, into the darkness of the rest of the city, fleeing away. The other one, feeling a little bit more confident now that he's managed to block the quarterstaff from you, Taileth. So he is going to, although he is going to have to, because he's still got his crossbow out, because he hadn't begun the process of changing it, and he can't pull out. He can either put it away or draw a weapon. So he's actually going to try and take a step back, not disengaging because he's getting ready to fire it at you or loose it at you. And so if you did want to take an attack of opportunity, you'd be welcome to do so.
I very much do.
All
I
right.
very much do. Because he's going to get a witch bolt in his face.
Now that's a roll to hit, right? Witch bolt.
Yep.
Okay. Go for it.
18.
Which absolutely hits. Roll for damage for me.
On a hit, okay, he takes 1d12 lightning damage, 7 lightning damage, and
there's an
on
and
each of
coming.
his turns for the duration, so up to a minute, each of his turns he takes 1d12 lightning damage.
Well, would you like to describe how your witch bolt finishes him?
It looks very much like the lightning spell in Skyrim. You know, nice and classic. Nice bolt of lightning. Yeah, maybe he just goes unconscious with very fizzy hair.
Smoldering on the ground.
I just burst out laughing. Terrifying.
So all that remains now are the remains themselves of the half orc and the bandit, and the fake egg resting on the ground.
I'll pick up the egg and store it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think this is real, but we said we'd bring an egg back, and then bring an egg back we will.
But
And I got the pin on one of them, so
Yeah, that's good. What do we do about these?
she kind of rifles through their pockets.
I offer an arm for Fluff to come down onto.
Fluff kind of comes and perches and says, What about the... Do you think they have the real egg and they've given us a pretend one like that person said to give them pretend diamonds?
Probably, but we've done our end of the bargain, so...
But we haven't brought a real egg. Real egg?
We weren't told to authenticate.
No, we were not.
I learned that word.
And the pin is on them, so they can find the real egg. And she says this while she's literally like hands deep in pockets looting.
You find collectively 10 silver pieces, and otherwise just weapons, which consist of scimitars, light crossbows, and a mace.
3 more nights at the tea shop.
Dicky's on her.
Am I going to be a banker?
You usually are.
10 silver pieces, was it?
Yeah.
As the one
You're the one
who
rightfully-
has a grasp of currency.
Yeah.
We're in a biscuit-based economy over here. Where
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, what do you do next?
I suppose we heads back, does we not?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we head back. We've done our end of the bargain.
All
They
right.
said bring back an egg. They didn't say what kind of egg.
We completed the adventure.
I wipe my blade on the tabard or clothing of the half orc just to get it clean, and then head on our way out.
All right. You make your way back then to Madame Freona's tea kettle, specifically to the stable just behind. And as promised, you can see the hooded figure stood waiting in the dark. And he greets you as you arrive, and he says, Was that a successful exchange?
Well, yes, the pin is on one of them,
Excellent.
but they did not give us a real egg, much like you didn't give them real diamonds.
I hold out the egg.
Oh, it's a fake.
Yeah.
Unless there is such thing as a wood dragon.
I can't
Never
say
heard
I've
of a wood
heard of a wood dragon myself.
Well, it's not neither.
But it's certainly not a red dragon's egg, then.
Well, it's red, but I don't know if it's a dragon's egg.
I see. Let me... And he kind of takes it from you, and he kind of inspects it, and he lets out a deep sigh, and he says, Yes, unfortunately... He says, Well, I suppose you have upheld your end of the bargain regardless. You have delivered the egg, albeit the fake one, and you say you have placed the pin. Good, that is enough for us to be able to at least gather the intel that we need. So, as promised, and he hands over to you, Taileth, as you are holding out your hands eagerly,
Yep.
a bag full of coin. He says, You'll find 200 gold in there, as promised. And he says, and in exchange for the planting of the pin as well, and he pulls out a small vial of a red liquid. And he says, Take a potion of healing for your efforts as well.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He says,
Are all the gold coins you gave us real?
That is a good point. Are
yes,
they?
yes, I can confirm that they are in fact real.
There's been a lot of fake stuff today.
I
John-
open the bag and I start looking at the gold coins.
That's
Still smiling, still like just having a lovely chat, but just like I'm comparing them to some that he has on his person.
All right, could you
Right.
give me an investigation check?
He has no preamble. It's just it's cop. What do we got? 11.
11. These look like real gold coins to you.
They're real, and I pass some to Felin and Taileth.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
He says, just before I go, I should warn you that we have been noticing an increased interest in all things dragon related. We've also been hearing word of more dragon sightings in the region, and elsewhere for that matter. I would suggest keeping your eyes and ears open for any further information you hear of dragons. It might very well save your life.
And are we to tell you if we do?
Well,
Is that just a friendly warning?
more of a friendly warning, though should our
Oh,
paths
right.
cross.
I didn't know if we was becoming friends. But no, that's fine.
Well, allies, perhaps.
Allies. I likes that.
Like friends.
Yes. He says, well, thank you for your efforts this night. Should I be in need of you again, I will be in touch.
We'll be at the tea kettle.
He gives you a nod and turns on his heel and leaves into the night.
Right, Ickies?
Yes.
And you return then to the tea kettle for your biscuit supper before settling down for your actual night's sleep. And that is where we shall end this episode of Defiance in Phlan. I just wanted to take a quick moment to say a huge, massive thank you to all of our patrons who have brought this show to you today. So a massive thank you from us to you, to Nigel Raggett, Rebecca Hill, James Hamilton, J.R. Belliston, Jason Bradwell, Jason Udall, Chrissy Kirby, Robert Treadwell, and Gary Lloyd. Again, a huge thank you from us for all of your support and making everything that we're doing with this show possible.